Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. This is my first Premier League season review, 2023-2024 Premier League season review. Obviously, I have done this after the FA Cup final yesterday, where we saw quite an interesting result, didn't we, in the FA Cup final, which we'll get onto. But yeah, let's get straight into it then. So the top three, I predicted the top three spot on in the Premier League. I predicted Man City to be champions at the start of the season, Arsenal to finish second, and my team Liverpool to finish third. Man City, Premier League champions. Look, for me, the 115 charges are obviously that's going to be thrown at the minute, or you got 115 FC and all that rubbish. Let's see if Man City can clear themselves properly. If Man City clear themselves properly, then yeah, fair enough. Then you have to say they are the greatest Premier League team in history, in my opinion. If they can clear themselves, because on the pitch, an absolute fantastic team, Man City. Fantastic team on the pitch. What was after the final? It's national break in March. We were all saying what a title race we got, a 3-horse title race, and it ended up being Manchester City winning the title by 2 points over Arsenal, and Liverpool falling away in April, falling away from the title race in April. So it was promised to be a 3-horse title race on the final day, but it ended up being a 2-horse race, and basically was already done to the final day yesterday. And obviously City did the job on the final day against West Ham, while Arsenal obviously beat Everton. But Manchester City, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this nonsense that Pep Guardiola can't be stopped. It can be stopped. 2019-20 season, Liverpool stopped Man City with ease as well, with ease. 2016-17, Pep Guardiola's first season. Oh, but people be like, but it was his first season. It was his first season. But Antonio Conte won the title on his first season at Chelsea. Notice that there's other competitions as well. There's other competitions. Liverpool have won a couple of competitions recently, where Manchester City got knocked out, and obviously we saw Manchester United win the FA Cup. With who people call Erik ten Hag the worst manager of Manchester United era. But yeah, he's won 2 trophies with Manchester United now. So it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense saying Pep Guardiola can't be stopped. Real Madrid, by the way, who probably in the rebuild, knocked Man City out on penalties. But Manchester City can't be stopped. Pep Guardiola can't be stopped. They can be stopped. So Liverpool for me just showed that they weren't ready to win the title, really. They weren't ready to win the title. That's why they probably fell away in April. But Man City, squad depth prevails again. Squad depth prevails again for me in terms of winning the league. Well, I say squad depth, but Arsenal only missed out on 2 points. But that's Arsenal's fault for me. That's Arsenal's fault. Arsenal, for me, should have beaten. It's them 2 games in December for me, Fulham and West Ham, where they suffered back-to-back defeats. They were the games for me, for Arsenal. They were the games. I wouldn't say Aston Villa at home. I mean, Aston Villa at home, that was a pressure game. And the pressure just told on Arsenal. But you do have to look on results early in the season as well. Fulham at home, that just came to my brain. Fulham at home, the draw. So, but yeah, that's the thing. I have to say that about Liverpool as well. Where to Newton and all of them. So, but for a record-breaking 4 in a row for Manchester City. I don't think they'll care about the other competitions. I know they lost in their FA Cup final, but I don't think they'll care that much. Obviously, they will care. They want to win everything, Man City. But it's still been a settled season for Man City, and Man City still had the best season out of all the English teams, out of all the teams in the Premier League, because they won the Premier League, simple as that. And they made it far in the war. But Manchester City, for me, they'll be looking on next season to improve in the cup competitions and the Champions League. And can Man City, that's the thing about Man City, can they get any better though? Can they do 5 in the war next season? It's possible. Only one, it is possible, but it's already a prediction. I don't think they will. I actually don't think Man City will do 5 in the war. I think Man City will have more priority in the Champions League, trying to win the Champions League back, in my opinion. And for me, I think it'd be Man City's asset. Man City. I think it'd be Pep Guardiola's that season, in my opinion, next season. I do think next season will be his last season. And nothing better to win the Champions League back, isn't it? Win the Champions League back for him. He's competed the Premier League now for me. I think he's competed it. 4 in the war. I don't think any other team will do 4 in the war, in my opinion. So he's competed that. And it's all about winning another Champions League for me, because I still think people are questioning Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, saying, well, they need to win another Champions League. So I think they still probably need to win another Champions League, Man City, and then what an era. What an era it's been already, though, for Man City under Pep Guardiola. I don't think they need to win another Champions League. He was brought in to win the Champions League, and he's done that. But yeah, another Champions League will just shut everyone up, won't it? So yeah, I think Man City will be fully focused on winning the Champions League next season, and I don't think Man City will do 5 in the war, in my opinion. So, but yeah, up next, onto Arsenal. Still a trophy season for Arsenal. I think the Premier League, I still think is being successful. Slightly successful in the Premier League, but then they didn't win it. But the only progress they made, they took the title race to the final day, unlike that season. Well, that season for me, Arsenal completely bottled it. That season for me. This season, I don't know if they did bottle it, Arsenal. I really don't think they did bottle it, because there was 3 teams in the bloody title race. There was 3 teams in the title race, and I don't think Liverpool bottled it either. I just think Liverpool just weren't ready. And Liverpool, I just thought Liverpool for me were always hanging on, weren't they? Always hanging on the coattails of Man City and Arsenal. So that deserves to be the top 2 for me. And Arsenal, they need to improve the squad depth. Arsenal, I'm sorry, but it's their options of the bench. I mean, you look at the front 3. Okay, they've got Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli. They've got Jesus and Trossard. They just need one more. Player for me. In that, they need a number 9. I think it's simple as that. They need a goal scorer number 9 at Arsenal. That's what they need. I think Isak from Newcastle will be perfect for Arsenal. That'll be a quality addition for Arsenal. And that's your forward depth done. Because Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, and Eddie Nketiah, all them three just need to be sold from Arsenal, because they're not done enough. Simple as that. I'll still keep Jesus, because good option to win off the bench as well. And squad depth as well. They just need a number 9. Arsenal need a number 9. Any other positions they need to improve? I think they need another midfielder, Arsenal, because Thomas Partey could be even. Couldn't they? So, but then I'll probably keep Partey, to be fair. I would keep him. And what I would do is, with Zinchenko, I would actually play Zinchenko in midfield as well. Play him in midfield because he's not done enough as a fullback. He's not done enough as a fullback. I would actually keep Kieran Tierney. Keep Kieran Tierney at Arsenal. Play him at left back or even Timber at left back. Put Zinchenko as a midfielder. And I think Arsenal need another centre-back as well. I think they need another centre-back as cover for Gabriel, Saliba and Tivio as well. And obviously they need a backup goalkeeper with Aaron Ramsdale even. In terms of Man City, obviously I'll talk about Man City. What do they need to improve? For me, Man City just need... In terms of Man City, I think Man City only need a left back. They need a natural left back for me, Man City, because as much Davido and Nathan Ake both do a job at left back, but they're centre backs for me. They're more natural centre backs for me. So they need a left back, and they made that Kyle Walker replacement as well, Man City potentially, because Walker's been into Bayern Munich, hasn't he? We know what's happening there with Vincent Kompany down to Bayern Munich, which I'll talk about later on. Probably makes sense, that transfer now all of a sudden. So Man City, but the thing with Man City is, Man City will sell players this summer. They will sell players, but that's what they do. They sell players and they even get better. They even get better and improve, get replacements in. Bernardo Silva leave Man City, they'll get a replacement in for him. Kevin De Bruyne will go to Saudi, in my opinion. I think he will go to Saudi, Kevin De Bruyne, and they'll get a replacement for him. Obviously, the Paqueta deal, I think the Paqueta deal is now in the bin because of, obviously, his betting charges. So, but that could be a thing on saying Kevin De Bruyne might actually stay. But Bruno Guimaraes, I think he'll join Man City, in my opinion. I think it's nailed on, in my opinion. But that's on Man City. I've named the positions Arsenal need to improve. Next season, Arsenal need to win a trophy. They need to win a trophy next season, Arsenal. Because I still don't think... I don't think it's been a successful season for Arsenal. I think it's been progress from that season. They've took it to the final day. But I don't think it's been a successful season still for Arsenal. This is the way they threw the cup competitions away. I think Arteta needs to be criticised for throwing the cup competitions away. Because Arsenal, for me, if that was Arsenal in the Carabao Cup quarter final, not West Ham, Arsenal would have fancied the chances beating us in the quarterfinals, and you would have seen Arsenal in the final, the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. And then you think to yourself, that's a trophy that we missed out on. FA Cup, Arsenal were better than Liverpool in that FA Cup tie, but Liverpool took the chances. And knocked Arsenal out. So 2 competitions straight away for Arsenal. That's 2 competitions straight away that, for me, they should have took more serious, in my opinion. That's my only criticism. Of Arsenal. They've done well, though. They've done well to take to the final day against Man City. But then you need to say, though, they did miss out on a few games, didn't they? Where the Fulham, actually the 2 games since Fulham, Fulham were a tough team, don't get me wrong, but Liverpool won at Fulham, Man City won at Fulham. So the 2 games since Fulham and the West Ham game at home, they were the games for me for Arsenal where they should have won, and they were pretty champions. So it's one of them for Arsenal. At least Arsenal, for me, they've not made it a one-season wonder like that season. They have still challenged for the title. Next season, the press is done beyond them now. They'll be expected now from a lot of people to win, in my opinion. They'll be expected to win by a lot of people. They're expected to win by me as well. I expect them. A bit of an early prediction. I expect Arsenal to win the league next season. Because that's fine. If they're going to throw the cup competitions away, they need to win the big trophies then. Simple as that. They need to win the big trophies. And I think they've got a good opportunity and win the Premier League, Arsenal, next season. Because I just think Man City will prioritise the Champions League more. So, a bit of an early prediction. Obviously, it all depends on what they do in the transfer window. But I expect Arsenal to win the league next season. If they don't, and they win nothing again, if they transfer the title and they win the trophy next season, then fair enough. It's a successful season for Arsenal. Definitely a successful season. But I expect them to win the league. I do. I expect them to win the league next season, Arsenal. Because you've already challenged now. You've already challenged twice. The next step is to get over the line. I said it with England. with Darryl Southgate. I gave him 3 strikes at England. I gave Darryl Southgate 3 strikes. And he's failed. And he's failed in all 3 of them. 2018 World Cup, okay, we can get him off because we weren't expected to get that far. But the Heroes, we should have won the Heroes. We had the home advances in the final, and it wasn't a good Italy team either. And the 2022 World Cup, where France had injuries. So, Arteta now, that's a chance to win for me for Arteta. If he doesn't win a trophy, and chance for the title, I think Arteta should do it, in my opinion. Because he can't keep saying, oh, but they're still in the title challenge. No, you need to win. They need to win now at Arsenal. They need to win. It's not good just having a third title challenge in the war of missing out, in my opinion. Just my opinion. So yeah, that's Arsenal. On to Liverpool. I've already spoke about Liverpool though in terms of my season with who, where you, which I did earlier this month and earlier last month. For me, successful season for me for Liverpool. Still been a successful season. No, people be like, where's your quadruple at and all that rubbish. Start of the season, Liverpool's aim was to get back in the top 4 and to win the Europa League. But obviously we didn't win the Europa League, but we still won a trophy. So successful season, and obviously Jurgen Klopp, it still pains me to this day that Jurgen Klopp is now done. It's now the Arne Slot era next season. So I think there will be a slight drop off from us. Because it is a new manager. But I think we'll still be in the same position. I still think we'll be the 3rd best team in the Premier League next season, in my opinion, behind Man City and Arsenal. In my opinion, on the Arne Slot. Because Arne Slot, let's be real, Jurgen Klopp has yet a fucking good squad. He has yet a good squad of players with Arne Slot. It's not like a rebuild. It's not like a rebuild, and it's not like we're a mess at the top of the football club like Manchester United, we're 30 yet. It's more, we got Michael Edwards in. Michael Edwards may as well be the manager of Liverpool because he's going to be in charge of the transfers. Arne Slot will do the talking. We'll do the talking of the team. And we got the right people back. We basically got the damn bats there, haven't we, in terms of the recruitment side of it. And so we've been left in the good place. We have. We've been left in the good place. And I expect us to be in the same position next season. 3rd place. But people come at me saying you don't your standards by saying you don't expect to win a trophy. But people need to realise it's a new mindset now. It's a new mindset. So for me, my aim is to obviously sustain that pace in the top four, which I think we will. I think we will still easy finish in top four for me, and probably be the third best team in the Premier League next season, in my opinion. And yeah, maybe try and win a cup again. This time, try and win the FA Cup or something like that. Don't find the Champions League because we do love the Champions League, don't we? Hooping and nice as well. So don't find the Champions League. But I don't expect a chance for the title. No, I don't. Even though people come up to me saying you should expect a chance for the title, but I think it'll be the same as this season and maybe win a trophy then. But I'll take that. I will take that because we do know there's going to be a slight dip. But anyways, on to that's Liverpool, and the persistence Liverpool need to improve in is, for me, I think we'll get a backup goalkeeper because I think Terho will leave in the summer to get himself first team football at a Premier League club. I think we need maybe another right back because I think Arne Slot might play Trent in midfield. That's what I think he might do. He might play Trent in midfield, but he should play Trent in midfield, in my opinion. And I think he'll get Dirk Ruder in from Feyenoord to play at right back. Or to cover at right back, because who knows, Conor Pride, might be a starter at right back. We need another centre-back. We do need another centre-back. Seth Vandenberg will take some role under Arne Slot after his loan spell at Mainz. That Dossier Cup, of course. Van Dijk won't leave because the Dossier Cup with Arne Slot, so the most centre back we've been in with is William Patso from Frankfurt. I think he's part of Mike Edwards, obviously Stoughton, yes. Transfer, yes, in terms of players to sign. We may need to. No, we don't need to. We don't need to sign another left back because I think Joe Gomez will cover left back for Andy Robertson, and I think Samitas will leave the club. I would love to sign a defensive midfielder. I would love to sign a defensive midfielder, a proper top class defensive midfielder, but I don't think we will. I think he'll be happy settled with Endo, in my opinion. But we'll wait and see. Fabio Carvalho could have a future at Liverpool because Arne Slot does have to play 4-2-3-1, and Szoboszlai will be the number one in that attacking midfield wall. And Carvalho, that's good cover, isn't it, for Szoboszlai as an attacking midfielder. Mo Salah, apparently Mo Salah's going to stay at Liverpool. I still don't trust that will happen. I think Mo Salah will be tempted by Saudi. I think Mo Salah will leave to join Saudi. If he doesn't, then that's fucking great. That's good. That is good, isn't it? Because you're still keeping a top class player in Mo Salah as well. And your goal scorer. But I still think Salah will leave. And I actually think we'll get either Gerard Bowen in as a replacement, either Gerard Bowen or Johan Bakayoko from the Dutch league from PSV as a replacement for Mo Salah. If I was advising Mo Salah, I'll be done to Saudi, mate. I'll be done to Saudi because he's done everything, Mo Salah. He's done everything for me. And don't build your forward up, don't build your profile up in Saudi because his forward is going to be unbelievable. If he does to Saudi, he's going to be pretty sky high with his forward. With him being Muslim and it's a Muslim country as well. So yeah, Mo Salah, I'll be advising him to do. Tori Dakpo will start on the left wing, in my opinion. He's going to have a part to play on the Arnaud in the Dosien Cup. Ryan Cronenberg, again, another Dust player as well. He's going to have a part to play. Darwin Núñez is going to end up staying at Liverpool. I think he will stay at Liverpool, Darwin Núñez. I think Arne Slot will want to try and improve Darwin Núñez, and he probably sees Darwin Núñez a bit similar to Santiago Gimenez, who we had at Feyenoord up front, trying to improve Darwin Núñez as well. So yeah, the position of Liverpool only needs to improve really is. Actually, I think Luis Diaz will leave as well. I think Luis Diaz will leave because I think Tori Dakpo is done to be a starter, and I don't think Diaz would be happy to be a backup, in my opinion. So I think we'll end up getting Summerville from Leeds as well to be a backup to Tori Dakpo. So that's what I think will happen with Liverpool in the summer. And yeah, that's my opinions on Liverpool. Successful season, in my opinion, for Liverpool. But up next then, Manchester United. I have Manchester United finishing 4th and they ended up finishing 8th. But they did win the FA Cup yesterday. They did win the FA Cup, which is a bit weird now. Because Erik ten Hag is still going to be sacked on his Premier League performance. And yeah, it's a massive downfall. Massive failure for Manchester United in terms of the Premier League performance. But I'm not shocked Manchester United turned up. I am not shocked Manchester United turned up yesterday in that FA Cup final. Not shocked at all. I was shocked they were 2-0 up. I was shocked by that. But we saw it against Liverpool, didn't we? Manchester United just turn up whenever they want. Liverpool, bit of steam. Both can't stand each other. Manchester City, I just thought to myself, it's a cup final. Manchester Derby, the cup final as well. And it looked like, for me, Man City was still on the booze as well. And Manchester United deserved to win that FA Cup final. Definitely deserved to win that cup final for me. And that's back-to-back seasons now where Erik ten Hag has won a trophy. For how bad Manchester United have been. That is something though, isn't it? That is something that Erik ten Hag has won a trophy. And he's still going to be sacked, which is an absolute mess. That is an absolute one decision for Man United, in my opinion, to sack Erik ten Hag. And I'm not bantering either. Saying, oh, ten Hag in now and all that. Manchester United needs to stick by the manager. They need to stick by the manager. They need to stick by the manager for me, because there's just no point sacking him, because this is now going to send Manchester United 2 years back now. That's going to send them 2 years back now, Manchester United, and it won't. For me, it won't be 5 years till Man United challenge for the title. Then, I don't think they will challenge for the title. I think the ownership is a massive problem. Sir Tim Ratcliffe, by the way, who needs and the Switzerland club who he has shares in, they both want him out. They both want Tim Ratcliffe out. What does that say? What does that say about your new owner, Manchester United fans? What does that say about your new owner? I've never been convinced by Ratcliffe. I just think it's the one choice, in my opinion, to have as a shareholder, in my opinion. So yeah, this is why I'm not worried about Manchester United, even though they won their FA Cup. But Manchester United have been like that for 10 years since third year. Manchester United have been like that for years since third year. They have a good season, or they win a trophy, but still sack the manager. and it's just going to be the same again for the next 10 years, in my opinion. So I'm not worried about Manchester United personally. I think they're a mess of a football club at the moment, despite that FA Cup win. I might be wrong, but I don't think Jim Ratcliffe has done be a good owner, in my opinion. Especially when Leeds want him out as well. What does that tell you? And it's not just that. They need to get rid of the players who have thrown the previous managers and the current manager under the bus. That's another problem, Manchester United. So for me, they still don't have the same old problems for me, Manchester United, despite winning the FA Cup yesterday. So that's my opinion, and that's what needs to improve for me. Get rid of the dead wood. This was stick by Ten Hag, in my opinion. There's no point sacking him. And he's won you a trophy as well. He's won you a trophy. The aim of the game is still to win, though, to be fair. The aim of the game is still to win. Despite it's been a poor Premier League performance, it's back-to-back seasons, they've won a trophy. So, yeah, he's not that bad of a manager, is he? If he can win a trophy. That's what I'm saying. So, but it's just a mess, Manchester United. And it's not Erik ten Hag's fault either. They shouldn't sack the manager. They need to get rid of the dead wood. They need to back Erik ten Hag properly. To be fair, they have made good movements, to be fair, in terms of the recruitment side, Manchester United. I will give them that. But I just think the owner... I still think the ownership is still a massive problem. And for me, I still think there's a couple of dead wood players on the pitch that will still throw the manager on the butts. So, yeah, a failure in terms of Premier League performance, but they've won a trophy. They have won a trophy then. While Arsenal haven't won a trophy. So, it tells you everything, doesn't it? It tells you everything. But yeah, that's Manchester United. Now on to Tottenham Hotspur. I got that spot on. They ended up finishing fifth, and I put them to finish fifth. I just thought to myself, I even said without Harry Kane, I actually thought them selling Harry Kane at the start of the summer would actually help them. In certain games it hasn't. In certain games it hasn't helped them. But Harry Kane, he wants to leave, didn't he? He wants to leave, so it's just better off getting rid, aren't you? And it was his first season under Ange for me. And I said at the start of the season, I think Tottenham will... I did say finishing in the top 6 for Spurs will be a good season. I still think it is a good season for Spurs. But they had a lot of games. They had a lot of games in their hand where they should have finished in top 4. I really do think that. I really think Spurs should have finished in top 4. I actually think Aston Villa... Fair play to Aston Villa for finishing in top 4, but I think Aston Villa did get away with it in terms of finishing in top 4. Spurs beat them 4-0 as well. Spurs beat them 4-0 too, as well. And I just thought to myself, yeah, they've missed out big time, in my opinion, Spurs. I don't like this praise of Spurs either. Yeah, we should praise Spurs. We should praise the way Spurs play. It's car class. I'm sorry. It's car class football. Defensively, even at Celtic on the hands, defensively, I even saw them at Celtic that he doesn't know how to cause his team to defend. It's an absolute car crash. Defensively, you got Christian Romero, who is so headless in my opinion, headless chicken for me at the back, and you got 2 wing backs playing as a fullback. Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie, they are wing backs. They are not fullbacks for me. But they are playing as fullbacks and they're exposed defensively. So they need to play as wing backs. And that's where we saw Pedro Porro at his best at Sporting Lisbon. And the only shining light has probably been Fatario and Van de Ven for me. They've been good signs for Spurs. James Maddison was a good sign to start off with the first half of the season, but he kind of dropped off in the second half of the season. But I still think he's still a quality player, Maddison, let's be real. So I think Spurs do need to improve. I think they should get Toyoda, in my opinion, who Ans had at Celtic. He suited Ans' role quite well, didn't he, at Toyoda? So they should get him to play in that role at Tottenham, in my opinion. Or get striker in. I do think Spurs needs that striker in my opinion. Richarlison looks like he's going. I wouldn't be shocked to see Richarlison go back to Everton. I wouldn't be shocked, to be fair. I think they need to get a couple more positions in midfield, strengthen that midfield up. They need another centre back. Spurs. They do need another centre back. Maybe actually 2 centre backs. To be fair, I think they need, and that's all they need. That's all I think they need, in my opinion. But I think Ans needs to adapt and play back 5 in my opinion. Play Polo and Ndodi as wing backs. But I don't think he'll do that. Ans is too stubborn, so I don't see Spurs progressing for me because Ans is too stubborn, in my opinion. That's the only criticism I got of Ans. He just needs to adapt, in my opinion. He needs to play with 3 centre backs and wing backs, in my opinion, because if he sticks to his way, they're going to be even more found out next season, in my opinion, Spurs. And I think they will be even more found out next season. So, a good first season overall. A good first season, but then a missed opportunities there in the Champions League for Spurs, in my opinion. But up next, Aston Villa for me. Unai Emery, manager of the season for me. Definitely manager of the season. To get Aston Villa in the top 4 to finish 4th. I did say start the season though. If they improve actually in a couple more positions, they could actually finish top 4. I wouldn't rule that out. But I put them to finish 6th, and I still thought that was a good season, to be fair, for Aston Villa. They were in the UEFA Conference League, weren't Aston Villa? Got knocked out in the semi-finals by Olympiacos. And I looked at Aston Villa's squad. They're quite strong all over the pitch. In midfield, they don't need to improve midfield way, Aston Villa. They've got a strong midfield depth, in my opinion. I think they need one more centre back in. I think they need to get another centre back. They need to get a right back in. I don't think Matty Cash stood enough. I think they'll get another left back in to replace Ukadinya. I think they'll add 2 more. You could say 2 more midfielders, yes, wingers. At Aston Villa, and they probably need another striker for me, Aston Villa, just to add to the depth of Ollie Watkins and Juwan up front. And yes, they want to play Diaby up front with Watkins, which I can see them doing as well. So yeah, I think Aston Villa for me definitely will be interesting on next season with Aston Villa. Will they get found out next season? But it's going to be a joy to watch them in the Champions League, isn't it? Just seeing Aston Villa in the Champions League. Just like the good old days when they were in the European Cup. Obviously, I wasn't born, but yeah, like them and Nottingham Forest in the European Cup. Yeah, it's still mad. I thought it was mad this season seeing Newcastle in the Champions League. It's going to be mad next season seeing Aston Villa in the Champions League. So yeah, well deserved. Finishing in the top 4. I do think they did that away with it, Aston Villa, in terms of finishing top 4. Because Spurs threw a few games away. in my opinion. But Aston Villa, well done to you for finishing in the top 4. And yeah, I'm excited to see how they do in the Champions League next season. Aston Villa certainly got the manager, haven't they, in Unai Emery? In Unai Emery, so yeah, Aston Villa, fair play to you. So up next then, we got Newcastle United for the 7th, which is a slight drop off from last season after finishing in the top 4. They ended up finishing 7th. I got that spot on. I didn't expect a slight drop off after playing the Champions League as well for Newcastle. I don't think it's a failure for Newcastle in the Champions League because, let's be real, they had the group of death for me. They had the group of death, and it was a hard group to get out of because they had 3 teams who were more experienced than them. Who was it? Was it PSG, Dortmund, and AC Milan? Who were more experienced than them. So it wasn't a favour for Newcastle in the Champions League. But I'm quite shocked. But I am quite shocked Eddie Howe is still in the job, in my opinion, because I thought the Saudi ownership, they would have been ambitious this season. I thought Eddie Howe would get found out this season and probably get sacked at the end of the season. But apparently, it looks like Eddie Howe might be staying for next season. And that's fair play, though. Fair play to the ownership, though, for sticking with him. But I don't think, for me, I would have sacked him because they haven't progressed Newcastle. And with that backing Newcastle have got, they would have been expected to stay in the top 4, in my opinion. Or they would have been expected to at least win a trophy. If Newcastle would have won a trophy, then you could say, it's still a good season for Newcastle because it's still progress from that season. Yes, even though finishing outside top 4, but it's still kind of progress because you won a trophy. So yeah, Newcastle finished 7th, but Newcastle are done struggle to keep hold of the likes of Isak and Bruno Guimaraes. I think Guimaraes will go to Man City, and I think Isak will go to. I think Isak will go to Arsenal. In my opinion, he was in with Arsenal in the past. I think he was close to joining Arsenal in the past as well. So yeah, they probably don't need to replace them players, Newcastle. So I probably expect to see Newcastle in the same position this season into next season. I think they'll be around there again next season, 7th or 8th, in my opinion, Newcastle. And maybe that's where Eddie Howe might get found out and might get sacked in the end. Because I can't see the ownership accepting 7th for them and no trophies at Newcastle. Because the Saudis don't be ambitious, so. So yeah, but I think Newcastle, for me, the positions Newcastle needs improving. I think Newcastle need a left back. I think they need a left back, Newcastle. I think they'll get another centre back in. Don't forget, they got Tonali and Tonali who's suspended as well. So they probably need a defensive midfielder in. Probably need to get another defensive midfielder in to play alongside Joe Hinton in that midfield. They could do with an attacking midfielder, Newcastle. Could do with a creative attacking midfielder. And they probably don't need an Isak replacement as well. And yes, they spend all that Isak money on the attacking midfield. Just Cam Wilson's not really a bad striker, is he? It's just injury prone, isn't he? So I think Newcastle will be in the same position next season, around 7th, around that position, in my opinion, into next season. But will that be acceptable at the end of next season? I don't think so. I still think Eddie Howe is still hanging on the coattails on his job, in my opinion. In my opinion, anyways. So But up next then, in 8th place, I went for Chelsea and ended up in 6th place. I think that's a successful season for Chelsea. I think that is progress from last season for Chelsea. Progress from last season. I think it's a successful season for Chelsea. I know people will be like, yeah, but they don't money Chelsea, so there should be expectations there. Yeah, I will agree, so be it. But after what happened last season with Chelsea, the mess they were in last season, finishing in 6th place, finishing in the top 6 was a successful season for Chelsea. But obviously, Chelsea don't get Europa League now. They do get UEFA Conference League after Manchester United winning the FA Cup. After Man United winning the FA Cup. So, for me, Chelsea, what are they doing though? What are they doing sacking Pochettino? Well, I don't think he was sacked, but Pochettino left Chelsea for a reason after one season. His team left Chelsea for a reason. And they've got a four-man shortlist to replace him. De Zerbi, Matena, Maresca and Thomas Frank. Mediocre. Absolutely, that is a mediocre shortlist. All four of them are not good enough in my opinion. Actually, I think Thomas Frank is probably the only one who's probably... Thomas Frank, I think he's winning his ship at Brentford. I think he's done everything he can at Brentford, in my opinion, Thomas Frank. But that's a mediocre yes for Chelsea. And it's absolute madness how they let Pochettino go. Absolute madness, because they end the season so strongly as well. They had a strong second half of the season, Chelsea. A poor first half of the season, but a strong second half of the season. And it's just absolute madness why Chelsea have sacked Pochettino. And, well, they've let Pochettino go. So, then, as I said with Manchester United, it's now set Chelsea back now. Just when you thought it was one step forward, it's now a couple, 2 or 3 steps back now for Chelsea. Same with Manchester United. But I still have this feeling for some reason Todd Bowley might still be a successful owner at Chelsea. I still think he might be in the long term. But again, he's still not learned from that season's mistakes. So it's one of them for Chelsea. And for me, it's going to be a hard transfer window for Chelsea because there's not too many players. There's not too many players at the club. And I look at Chelsea's squad on paper and I think to myself, it's actually not a bad squad. What positions can Chelsea improve in? Because they've got too many players. I reckon Chelsea could be done by FFP. I actually think Chelsea might have a transfer ban in the summer potentially. Because of the way the owner's been a bloody monopoly, man, just buy anyone. But if Chelsea do that transfer ban, I don't actually think that's a bad thing. Because they've got the squad. I think the squad is still good enough on paper. I think it's a good squad on paper for Chelsea. So, would De Zerbi want to join Chelsea if they got a transfer ban? No, I don't think he would. But they have got Brighton players in the Chelsea squad. And I think there's a Brighton staff member who's part of the recruitment as well. I think everything's pointing towards De Zerbi. I've always said this. Everything's pointing towards De Zerbi, down to Chelsea, as Chelsea manager. The only problem is, I don't think De Zerbi, with how erratic he is, I don't think he'll be happy with a transfer ban in the summer. So that's the only thing. Which is probably why Kieran Matena and Maresca and Thomas Frank are probably our choices. Because they probably think to themselves, actually, we might be getting done with a transfer ban. But they haven't got a bad squad on paper, Chelsea. Haven't got a bad squad on paper. So yeah, I think it'll be the same with them for Chelsea for next season. I still think Chelsea will still be in and around the top 6, in my opinion, for next season. Top 6, top 8, Chelsea. They'll be in around them positions, but I just find it madness why they're sacking Pochettino. Why they get Pochettino done. Up next then, in 9th place, West Ham. Got West Ham spot on. I have got West Ham spot on. For me, I feel so sorry for David Moyes that he's lost his job at West Ham. They got Lopetegui in. I'm looking forward to see how that works with Lopetegui and Sullivan. Because Lopetegui jumped ship straight away when Wolves were having FFP problems. And just went, no, I'm not having any part of that. Yeah, I'm not having any part of that. I am intrigued in both ways about the Lopetegui appointment at West Ham. I am intrigued in both ways. I just don't know what West Ham fans expect. West Ham are in a fair position for me. It's where I expect them to be. Top 10 every season at West Ham. That's why I expect them to be. But it's because they got their stadium, which is not actually their stadium, by the way. It's a bloody Olympic stadium. It's like they got to the stadium and they think to themselves, oh yeah, we got this stadium, so we should be aiming for top 4. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I agree with Europe. Yeah, I think you should be aiming for Europe. Europa League and we're Conference League minimum. But I just don't know what they expect, West Ham. I just don't know what they expect. I feel so sorry for David Moyes. He's won them a trophy as well. As most people want to poo-poo that Conference League, it's a trophy at the end of the day. It's a trophy at the end of the day, and they've got a good squad, West Ham, haven't they? They've got a good little squad. They've got a good, decent squad, West Ham. But I feel sorry for David Moyes. And you know what? If I was David Moyes, I'll be telling West Ham, do one then. Try and get a manager who will do better than David Moyes. And I don't think they will. Honestly, I don't think they will. I know Lopetegui's got experience of winning in Europe. But I don't think... for me, I think it's a marriage made in hell. Lopetegui and Sullivan. I think there's going to be a real disconnect there. I really do think that. Because Lopetegui, for me, he will be ambitious. And I'm not sure if Sullivan is ambitious. It's that has the same ambitions as Lopetegui, in my opinion. So it's going to be interesting. I think Lopetegui will look in the Spanish market. More money for players. But I think that's going to be a car crash, Lopetegui and Sullivan straight away. I really do think that. And I'll be sitting right here to say I told you so. But I'll be happy proving one. But up next then, on to Brighton. I went for Brighton to finish in 10th. Only one position off. They ended up finishing 11th. I expected a slight drop off from Brighton after the amazing season they had. Last season, obviously finishing in the Europa League places. Roberto De Zerbi leaving Brighton because Roberto De Zerbi is accusing Brighton not having a project. I mean, yeah, confusing where you got smacked by that. Then, what does he expect at Brighton? I think Brighton have massively overachieved in the Premier League. Since they've been in the Premier League, Brighton last season, a massive overachievement. Then into Europa League as well. So I think Brighton, I think they are one of the best one clubs in the world. Not just in England, at Brighton. The way they've been won is absolutely perfect in my opinion, and this is where I expect Brighton to be. This is where I expect Brighton to be, chancing for the top 2, finishing in the top 10, in my opinion. Roberto De Zerbi just decided to throw his toys out the pram. Roberto De Zerbi has an ego of nothing, by the way. He has an ego of nothing. For some reason, he has an ego of thinking he's the best thing since day ye on tours, but he's done nothing. He's done nothing. Done nothing as a manager, so really confusing. And he's not done enough to manage a bit of club, in my opinion, De Zerbi. So whoever does take De Zerbi, what the hell are you doing? Seriously. So and Serby not pointing out who against Warmer. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting with Pointing then. Will more T players here? I think Matoma. I could see Matoma even Pointing. To be fair, I could see him even Pointing, and I could see Esputan at the F-back even as well. They're probably the only two key players left of Brighton, along with Pascal Gross as well. Pascal Gross, by the way, is underrated, so underrated for me. They're the only three key assets of Brighton. Get rid of them. Then Brighton, you could see a downfall. Brighton. Lewis Dunn as well. Proper old still centre back. That's another key player. But yeah, I think it'll be the same next season for Brighton. I think they'll be around mid-table, in my opinion. And be interested to see who the get in as manager. Does Graham Potter go back to Brighton? But would Brighton want to take Graham Potter back after he decided to twerk for Chelsea? He was twerking for Chelsea all of a sudden when Chelsea came calling. Remains to be seen. I think Brighton have got someone in already. They know who they're going to get in. Because Roberto De Zerbi was part of the yes before they appointed Graham Potter. So it'll be someone who they appointed before Roberto De Zerbi who Brighton get in. Like a Fias Masu or someone like that. Or Francesco Fiori from Leeds. It'd be someone like that. Them type of managers, in my opinion. But up next, on to Burnley and Newton, who both went down in the Premier League. But I decided to put them 11th and 12th. So yeah, very bad predictions, to be fair. Newton, but to be fair to Newton, though, they gave it a fight. Though. After everyone said they would go down by Christmas. Newton Town should still be proud of themselves. They gave it a proper good fight in the Premier League. It's just their injuries killed Newton, in my opinion. Killed Newton in the second half of the season. And that's when Newton, when it killed it. The injuries killed them for me. Will they go straight back up under Rob Edwards? I don't say keep Rob Edwards as manager. They still got the squad, haven't they? Newton. At the end of the day, Newton, they got the squad who's got the know-how to get back out the Championship. But you would expect the Championship to be even more stronger. So it's an interesting one with Newton. On to Burnley, who are set to use Vincent Kompany. I honestly thought Burnley and Newton would stay up comfortably because of the way they both play the football, And I thought the teams I predicted to finish below them were in more trouble for me. But I just think it was just the lack of inexperience in the end for Newton that sent them down. As for Burnley, Vincent Kompany didn't adapt as a manager. Vincent Kompany decided to stick with the same style that he played in the Championship, and he got heavily exposed in the Premier League this season. Vincent Kompany, too wide open defensively. They weren't that bad attacking wise, Burnley. It's just defensively all over the place defensively. And more open than Jeremy Collins is as well. I mean, Vincent, that's what sent Burnley down for me. Failing to adapt, failing to change the tactics as well. And now Bayern Munich decided they want to appoint Vincent Kompany as manager. Maybe Vincent Kompany does well. Maybe Vincent Kompany does well by Munich, because we saw Xabi Alonso do well at Bayer Leverkusen. Mikel Arteta for the job he's done at Arsenal. So who knows? Maybe he might do well, Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich. But that's a mad one, isn't it? That is a mad one. And I think Bayern Munich fans are going to be using their heads on a point Vincent Kompany, because they are proper elite club Bayern Munich fans. They are proper ultras as well. And they'll be wanting Vincent Kompany out straight away. And I agree with that. If I was a Bayern Munich fan, I'd be thinking to myself, we've been one like a pigsty if we're appointing Vincent Kompany as manager, with all due respect. Vincent Kompany's level is at Burnley. Vincent Kompany's level is at Burnley for me. That's his level. Getting back out the Championship. Look, if he stays at Burnley, I think Burnley doors straight back up. But they don't be appointing a new manager, Burnley, aren't they? But I will say, though, they did appoint Vincent Kompany as manager in the first place, didn't they, Burnley, and they went straight up. So, depends on the appointment, isn't it, at Burnley? But yeah, absolutely mental. A bastard taste, really, to appoint Kompany at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich fans, are going to want Kompany out straight away. They're going to want Vincent Kompany out straight away at Bayern Munich. And what you saw, in my opinion. Because that is absolutely mental appointment. An absolute mental appointment. And you have to play on the top of Bayern Munich for that. And Vincent Kompany, he won't last. He won't last at Bayern Munich. He won't last long, in my opinion. Just my opinion for me. But yeah, mental. Absolutely mental. Burnley. But I still think Burnley got the squad's door straight back up, in my opinion. But all depends on the appointment if Kompany does leave. Up next then, done twisting this up. Fulham. Fulham end up finishing 13th, and I put them to finish 13th. First half of the season, they were a good team, weren't they? First half of the season, Fulham were strong. First half of the season, especially at home as well. But yeah, once they got to the 40-point mark, Fulham got the beast towels out. And that's the sort of team they are. And they're going to have a tough task for them to try and keep hold of Antonee Robinson, who's been the best left back in the Premier League this season, and João Paulinho, who's one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League, who will be wanting to get his move to Bayern Munich that failed on deadline day. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I still think Fulham will get good money for Robinson and Paulinho, and I think they'll get good replacements in, suitable replacements in at Fulham, and I still think Fulham will be alright. And Marco Silva, he's done a good job, hasn't he, at Fulham? He's done a good, sustainable job at Fulham, Marco Silva. But they could be trying to wear their some battle with the loss of Paulinho and Robinson potentially. Up next then, on to Brentford. I went for Brentford to finish in 14th. They ended up finishing 16th. They did struggle in around the first half of the season. Brentford, they did struggle because I did think to myself, using Ivan Toney to obviously the betting charges, I think they will last those for the first half of the season. But then, once Toney came back, he had that impact straight away. But then Toney did fall off, didn't he? But in Bremo and Wissa step in with the goals for Brentford to keep them off comfortably in the end. And it's where Brentford are as a club, aren't they? So be interesting to see if Ivan Toney does leave Brentford, which I think he will. Try and get good money for Toney. You know what? If I'm Brentford, I'll be selling Ivan Toney and getting Dominic Solanke in as the identical replacement for me. Because you don't get money for Toney and spend that money. Why not spend that money on Solanke? But the thing with Solanke is, I don't think Solanke would want to move to Brentford. That's the only problem. He'll probably want to move to a bigger club. Dominic Solanke is, if he is, new Bournemouth. So So yeah, for me, that's what I'll be doing if I was Brentford. Christian Eriksen's been in with a move back to Brentford as well, so that'll be a good signing for Brentford as well. And Thomas Frank, obviously been into Chelsea. I think he'll stay at Brentford, Thomas Frank. I can't see him going to Chelsea. Like I said, I think Chelsea are on debt to Servi. Just everything just seems to be pointing towards the Servi to Chelsea, in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is where I expect Brentford to be again next season around this position, in my opinion. But you just feel after having a few seasons in the Premier League, you do eventually get found out, don't you? So, but we'll wait and see with Brentford. On to Everton next. I got Everton spot on, put them to finish 15th, and they did finish 15th. First half of the season, they were in trouble, weren't they, Everton? They were in decent trouble. But ended up surviving in the end, especially with the wins in the Merseyside derby at home to Liverpool as well, being a massive key to that. And Sean Dyche, good manager, isn't he? Good manager, Sean Dyche. I think he's the right manager for Everton. I really do think that. He knows how to set them up defensively, apart from that 6-0 defeat away at Chelsea. Knows how to set his teams up well at Everton. Doing well. He's done well, Sean Dyche, with what he's had to work with as well at Everton. And what's massive now for Everton is Everton need to try and get new owners in to try and back Sean Dyche. So Sean Dyche does need that backing at Everton, in my opinion. So that's what's going to be important for Everton. But then next season, I think Everton will be in the same position again because of we still don't know if they've done that new owners or not. So they're just going to be in the same position then. And that's the danger for Everton. They can't keep flirting with where they're done. Because it does end up trotting you down, in my opinion. Up next then, I went for Wolves in 16th. I went for Wolves to finish in 16th, they ended up finishing 14th. First half of the season, what a job Dario O'Neill done in the first half of the season. At one point, Wolves were in 7th place in the first half of the season. And especially with Wolves' problems as well, FFP, what a job Dario O'Neill's done. I still think he has done a good job, Dario O'Neill, despite the drop-off in the second half of the season. Despite the massive drop-off, since their Coventry defeat in the FA Cup, they have just went on a downward spiral, Wolves. And that's the only worry for me for Wolves next season. The only worry for me, Dario O'Neill could get found out next season. Because we've not seen Dario O'Neill have back-to-back seasons, have we? As a manager. So he could get found out next season, Dario O'Neill, potentially. And Wolves. And we don't know Wolves' FFP situation as well. So, but yeah, I do worry for Wolves. I reckon Wolves could be in a way decent battle potentially next season. Up next then, Crystal Palace in 17th. I went for Crystal Palace finishing 17th and ended up finishing 10th. Oliver Glasner doing an absolute madness. Roy Hodgson, Crystal Palace in the relegation zone, and Oliver Glasner does an absolute madness. Replacing Roy Hodgson and taking Crystal Palace up to 10 plates. And let's see if Oliver Glasner can do this next season now in his first full season. Because I've always said about Crystal Palace, the potential is there at Crystal Palace, but it's just always one of these teams that when they find themselves in where they're in trouble, they appoint a new manager and they end up surviving comfortably. Or vice versa. So, yes, Oliver Glasner gets backed, but the key assets of Crystal Palace of Ayise and Eze, they're done be wanted in the summer by the top clubs. But I don't think that's a bad thing. if Crystal Palace get money for them, so at least Oliver Glasner can invest that money in players he wants to bring in. If he's saying as they do leave, if both of them do leave, so that's the key for Crystal Palace. And Glasner is going to want his own signings in as well. He'll be wanting to improve that Crystal Palace squad and what you saw. So, but yeah, Crystal Palace, it's a hard one to predict for them for next season for Crystal Palace. They could have a good summer transfer window, Crystal Palace. They could have a good summer transfer window and end up having an amazing season and staying in that top 10, or it's the same old problems again for Crystal Palace and they end up surviving again by the skin of the teeth. Bit of a yo-yo with Crystal Palace. They are quite a vice versa, to say the least. Now on to the teams that went far to door down. I went for Bournemouth, Forest and Sheffield United. Sheffield United, I got that spot on. Rock bottom of the table. Using Ndai and Sander Birds, for me, that was the white in the wall straight away. Paul Heckingbottom, not done enough to be a Premier League manager as well. And for me, Sheffield United just weren't done enough. And that's the thing with Sheffield United's squad. Sheffield United's squad is always too good for the Championship, but too bad for the Premier League. They appointed Chris Wilder. They decided to go back to Chris Wilder after Chris Wilder didn't want to take the PM and threw his choice out of the plan when he was sacked. Now they decided to go back to him again, which is the one decision, in my opinion. So it's all going to end in tears once again. And Chris Wilder not taking responsibility and throwing his toys out the pram once again, in my opinion. I've always said that. And again, I don't know what they're going to do in the Championship next season, Sheffield United, because I do quite worry for Sheffield United in the Championship next season. But that power payment advantage, Sheffield United, and there's still got players in there who know how to get out of the league. But onto the other teams then I had in the way this, and so Nottingham Forest, who finished 17th, I put them to finish 19th and to go down. But this was under Steve Cooper. Because I just thought to myself, under Steve Cooper, he'll get found out this season, and I thought it was the right decision to sack Steve Cooper, because the Forest owner is Kean Bissett. He is Kean Bissett, and Steve Cooper. He did a good job in the first season keeping Forest up, but I just always thought to myself, second season syndrome, he'll get found out as a manager. And for me, Steve Cooper is a manager you would have to get you out of the Championship and keep you in the Premier League for the first season, but then you'll get found out in the second season. So it's the right decision, and to get Nuno in as well. They only just stayed up for this, isn't they? They only just stayed up, and but for me, Nottingham Forest, if Nuno can play his system at Nottingham Forest, I think they will be fine next season, which is a back five, a 5-2-3 formation for Nottingham Forest. That's what he played at Wolves, or 5-3-2. That is Nuno's system. I just don't know why he was playing 4-2-3-1. I just didn't get that at all, because it just doesn't suit Forest, in my opinion. Well, it doesn't suit Nuno, in my opinion. So it's either the manager needs to go, or Forest needs to play Nuno's system, in my opinion. But Forest has got good players: Morgan Gibbs-White, Chris Wood, and Hudson-Odoi. Boy at the back. But for me, then again, they could be in trouble for it next season. They could be in trouble and get trod down into it. It's a question that needs to be answered up for it. We just don't know what's going to happen. They've got FFP. They've had FFP problems this season as well. Getting points deducted as well. So I just don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen with Nottingham Forest. You need to see what they do in the summer. They need to get rid of a few players, Nottingham Forest. A bit like Chelsea, they've got too many players, Nottingham Forest as well, in the squad. And the final team I went to go down was AFC Bournemouth. I was proven one on that. And Iowa deserves a nominee to be a manager of the season for me, Iowa. Because I just thought, we all said, didn't we? We all said, why did they sack Darren O'Neill? Why did they sack Darren O'Neill after he kept Bournemouth up? And that was my reasoning. I actually thought they made the one decision, sacking Darren O'Neill, and I thought it would come back to bite them, but it was proven one. And Iowa deserves a nominee as manager of the season. To put Bournemouth, kept Bournemouth up comfortably first half of the season. They were already safe in the first half of the season, Bournemouth. and to get them to finish mid-table and finish in 12th. And then it's that question, be interesting next season. Does Iowa get found out next season, the second season syndrome as a manager? Or do Bournemouth continue to progress? I think it's good, right, isn't it? Because it's interesting because you look at Bournemouth's squad on paper, and you think to yourself that it's a championship squad, ain't it? Really, on paper. It's a championship squad on paper, but these last 2 seasons, O'Neill and Iowa has kept them up easily and comfortably. So maybe they continue to progress that squad. Maybe. But let's see what Iowa does in the summer transfer window. It's another interesting transfer window as well for Bournemouth and Iowa. Let's see what he does in the summer. Can he keep hold of Dominic Ciante? I think Ciante would love to move to a bigger club potentially. But I think they've already got a replacement in Ciante, haven't they? In Unal up front. So they've got decent players at Bournemouth. They really have got some decent players there. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the transfer window in the summer. But that is my Premier League 2023-2024 season review. Both leagues quite a long one to be fair. Made in my opinion on each team. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. If you support any of these teams, and if you watch this on playback, feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Take care, stay safe, and see you all later.